How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just want to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dark from last night, which was June 28th, 2022. I gotta say, it was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match 1, it was Willow Nightingale versus Ashley D'Amboise. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Willow Nightingale went over with the Doctor Bomb. Match 2, it was The Factory, which are Aaron Solo and Nick Comoroto versus Matt Vandegrift and Null. That was a squash match, but the ending to it, The Factory went over cause Nick Comoroto pinned Null by the Alabama Slam with the Alabama Slam. Match 3, it was Matt Sydal versus Jake Something. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Matt Sydal went over with the Hurricane Rana. Match 4, it was Athena versus Amber Nova. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Athena went over with the hammerlock choke. That was match 4, by the way. Match 5, it was Dante. Match 5, it was Dante Martin versus Lucky Ali. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Dante Martin went over with the nosedive. With the nosedive. Match 6, it was Julia Hart versus Valentina Rossi. That was a squash match, but the ending to it, Julia Hart went over with the modified Rings of Saturn. Match 7, that was match 6, by the way. Match 7, it was Fuego del Sol versus Marcus Cross. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Fuego del Sol went over with the Muda Lock. Now, after the match, as Fuego del Sol was celebrating his victory, the Factory, which are QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, and Nick Comoroto, came out to the ring, and QT Marshall had the microphone and was talking about how the people of Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida sucks, and talked about how Fuego del Sol was really impressed him and came close to beating Miro and everything, and QT Marshall even offered Fuego del Sol a spot in the Factory, and Fuego del Sol took the microphone and declined QT Marshall's offer to join the Factory and everything, and so Fuego del Sol left the ring and went backstage, and the Factory, which are QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, and Nick Comoroto, were in the ring looking on and everything. That was cool. And that was after the match, by the way. And that was match 7, by the way. Match 8, it was, Match 8, it was the Dark Order, which are Evil Uno and 10, versus the Wingmen, which are Ryan Nemeth and J.D. Drake. That was a great match, but the ending to it, the Dark Order went over because 10 pinned Ryan Nemeth with the discus clothesline. Now, after the match, Evil Uno was laid out by J.D. Drake during the match. So after the match, J.D. Drake, as 10 was celebrating the victory, J.D. Drake came in the ring and attacked 10 from behind and was beating the shit out of him. And Ryan Nemeth joined in. And then Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi came out and ganged up on 10, beating the shit out of him along with Ryan Nemeth and J.D. Drake. Well, Evil Uno came into the ring and tried to help 10, but the numbers game was too much, and the Wingmen, which are Ryan Nemeth, Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, and J.D. Drake, were beating the shit out of Evil Uno, and so Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi were beating the shit out of Evil Uno, and Ryan Nemeth and J.D. Drake were beating the shit out of 10, and as that was going on, and as that was going on, John Silver and Alex Reynolds came out to even the odds, and as John Silver and Alex Reynolds came out, the Wingmen, which are Peter Avalon, Ryan Nemeth, Cesar Bononi, and J.D. Drake, so when John Silver and Alex Reynolds came out, the Wingmen, which are Ryan Nemeth, Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, and J.D. Drake, retreated from the ring. And so the Dark Order, which are Evil Uno, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and 10, still remained in the ring. And the Wingmen, which are Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, Ryan Nemeth, and J.D. Drake were on the stage, and a stare down between the Dark Order and the Wingmen ensued. And everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way, and that was match 8, by the way. Match 9, it was Arya Davari versus Caleb Conley. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Arya Davari went over with the frog splash, and that was match 9, by the way. And match 10, which was the main event, it was and excuse me. And match 10, which wait a minute. And match 10, wait a minute. And match 10, wait a minute. And match 10, which was the main event, it was Wheeler Yuta versus Tony Nese in a Pure Rules match for the Ring of Honor Pure World title. That was a great match, but the ending to it, wait a minute. And match 10, which was the main event, it was Wheeler Yuta versus Tony Nese. And match 10, which was the main event, it was Wheeler Yuta versus Tony Nese in a Pure Rules match for the Ring of Honor Pure World title. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Wheeler Yuta went over and retained the Ring of Honor Pure World title with a straitjacket STF. Well, after the match, as Wheeler, well, after the match, Wheeler Yuta and Tony Nese shook hands, and Wheeler Yuta was getting ready to go backstage, but the Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker, came out and ganged up on Wheeler Yuta and beat the shit out of him, and threw him into the ring and started beating the shit out of him some more. So Matt Menard got on the microphone and cut a promo saying, "Well, would you look at that? Tomorrow night, Blood and Guts. We're going to beat your little Blackpool Combat Club." Then Angelo Parker was saying, and after the Jericho Appreciation Society beats the Blackpool Combat Club in Blood and Guts, you all can take your pro wrestling bullcrap somewhere else, and you're going to learn to appreciate the Jericho Appreciation Society. Then Daniel Garcia got on the microphone and said, and after Blood and Guts, Wheeler Yuta, I'm coming after your Ring of Honor Pure World title. I'm coming after your Ring of... Well, Daniel Garcia got on the microphone and said, and after I get... And after Blood and Guts, Wheeler Yuta, I'm coming after your Ring of Honor Pure World title, boy. And then the Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker, stood tall while Wheeler Yuta was laid out and everything. That was cool. And that was after the match, by the way, and that was match 10 and the main event, by the way. Now, besides the matches, Lexi Nair interviewed Wheeler Yuta, and Lexi Nair brought up about Wheeler Yuta having a busy week and talking about how he has a match against Tony Nese on AEW Dark and a Pure Rules match for the Ring of Honor World title, and Blood and Guts on Dynamite and everything, and Wheeler Yuta was talking about how he does have a busy week with his Pure Rules match against Tony Nese and the Blood and Guts match on Dark, and then the Blood and Guts and Wheeler Yuta was talking about how he does have a busy week in AEW with his Pure Rules match, putting his Ring of Honor Pure World title on the line against Tony Nese on Dark, and the Blood and Guts match Wednesday on Dynamite and everything. And Wheeler Yuta talked about how he was going to come out on top in the Pure Rules match, and how the Blackpool Combat Club were going to come out on top at Blood and Guts and everything. That was cool. And Nyla Rose cut a promo talking about how she's a trans woman, and how she loved working for AEW because they accept her for who she is and everything. That was cool. Now, excuse me. Now, besides all that, Taz and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. And the referees for the event... Wait a minute. The referees for the event were... Mike Posey, Bryce Remsburg, Stephon Smith, and some black-haired woman that I really don't know. Don't know who she is. Okay. Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Willow Nightingale versus Ashley D'Ambrose. Stephon Smith refereed the match between The Factory versus Matt Vandegrift and Null. The black-haired woman, I don't know what her name is, refereed the match between Matt Sydal versus Jake Something. Mike Posey refereed the match between Athena versus Amber Nova. Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Dante Martin versus Lucky Ali. Julia Hart. Wait a minute. Stephon Smith refereed the match between Stephon Smith refereed the match between Julia Hart versus Valentina Rossi. Mike Posey refereed the match between Fuego del Sol versus Marcus Cross. Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between the Dark Order versus the Wingmen. The black-haired woman, I don't know what her name is, refereed the match between Arya Davari versus Caleb Conley. And Mike Posey refereed the match between Wheeler Yuta versus Tony Nese in a Pure Rules match for the Ring of Honor World Title. Mike Posey, Bryce Remsburg, and Stephon Smith done awesome as usual, and the black-haired woman, considering this is her second time, she's done awesome as well. Now, the match card that's been announced for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite special event Blood and Guts for tonight that's been announced so far, it's going to be the Jericho Appreciation Society, which are Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker versus Eddie Kingston, Proud and Powerful, which are Santana and Ortiz, and the Blackpool Combat Club, which are John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta in a Blood and Guts match. Jade Cargill versus Layla Gray for the TBS Women's title, and Orange Cassidy versus Ethan Page. Those are the matches that have been announced so far. Now, besides the matches that have been announced so far, Christian Cage. Now, besides the matches that have been announced so far, Christian Cage will be appearing live. So the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite's special event, Blood and Guts, that's been announced so far for tonight, looks like it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it, and I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dark from last night, which was June 28th, 2022. Like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your ass down the road. Peace out.